Hello students, welcome to our next session of your chapter Economic Importance of Bacteria and Fungi. Today we are going to study about the serums and vaccines. Okay, what are the serums? See, what are the serums? Serums are the plasma, the blood plasma without fibrinogen. Okay, in the blood there is so many components. Okay, the major part of the blood is the plasma. Okay, in the plasma there is a protein called fibrinogen. Okay, fibrinogen along with the the cellular elements. Okay, and what are those? Those are RBCs, WBCs and platelets. Okay, so from the blood plasma, if we remove all these cellular elements and the fibrinogen protein, there will remain only the plasma. That plasma is called the serum. Okay, this is called serum. Now see, serum contains antitoxin for a particular pathogen. The serum contains antitoxins. Antitoxins means the toxin, the pathogens produce toxins. Okay, then our body produce antitoxins for particular toxin. Okay, so this serum contains antitoxin for any pathogen. Okay, now see, if you want to prepare toxin injected in horse, if you want to prepare the serum, how does it prepare? Now see, first of all, any kind of toxin we injected in the horse. For example, for the snake bite, we are making antitoxin. Okay, for the snake bite. So what will we do? The snake bite toxin, we will inject it first in the horse body. Okay, the toxin produced by the snake, we inject it in the horse body. Then the body of horse starts to form antitoxin. Okay, to neutralize the effect of the toxin. Okay, so the body starts to make the antitoxins. Okay, now this process repeats for few times. Okay, so many times the horse get injected by that toxin. Now the blood of horse is taken out. Okay, we take his blood and we after chilling. Okay, we kept it for some time. Okay, then what will happen? The blood get after chilled, the clot will get aside and serum will get aside. Okay, clot remains down at the bottom. Okay, the fibrinogen protein, it will become side, and the serum, the liquid part will be aside. Okay, then we will take the serum. Okay, we will get the serum. This is how serum produced. Okay, so serums are used for the production of antitoxins. Okay, so if we have snake bite, okay, if snake bite us, then the serum will injected to our body. Okay, now see, what are the vaccines? What are the vaccines? Vaccines are the chemical substance with weak or the dead germs. Okay, vaccine, in the vaccine there are weak or dead germs for a particular disease. Okay, what is the vaccination? Introducing weak and dead germs in body. Okay, the doctors, when they do vaccination, what do? They introduce weak or dead germs in our body to develop resistance to a particular disease. Okay, if we having allergy on our body, okay, then doctor inject us. Okay, then what does it contain? It contains some weak and dead germs. Okay, which develops resistance in our body, so we can fight with that problem. Okay, that allergy or any kind of disease. Okay, so vaccines obtained by bacteria. The most common vaccines which are obtained by bacteria are: we obtained the TAB vaccine for typhoid. Okay, we get it from the dead bacteria. Okay, from the dead bacteria we get TAB vaccine for typhoid. Typhoid is a fever. Okay, then from the weak bacteria we get BCG vaccine for TB, that is tuberculosis. Okay, so vaccines or serums, we get a particular vaccine, okay, for the particular disease. Okay, so the disease happening by the particular pathogen, the vaccine which is injecting to our body contains the same substance. Okay, that bacteria having the vaccine contain the same substance. Okay, but they do functions in separate manner. Okay, the vaccines produce they develop the resistance in our body. Okay, so this is the vaccination. After this, there is one more topic of toxoid. What is toxoid? Toxoid are the inactivated toxin of bacteria. Okay, bacteria produce some toxin, but we inactivated it. Okay, it get inactivated, but it still have ability to stimulate antibody production. Okay, so we also use toxoids to get immunity. Okay, so for immunity, if we injected the toxoids, the inactivated toxins of the bacteria stimulate the antibody production. Then in our body the antibody starts to produce. Okay, so this is the serums and vaccines. Now there is another topic, that is bacteria role in agriculture. There is a bacteria, Rhizobium. Rhizobium bacteria helps in the nitrification. Okay, it helps in the nitrification. There is a nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen cycle occurs in the plants. Okay, they do not take up directly nitrogen from the environment, and nitrogen is very important for the plants. Okay, so some plants contains especially the leguminous plants. Leguminous plants, their roots contains some nodules like this. Okay, it contains nodules. In these nodules, this Rhizobium bacteria, this bacteria lives. Okay, it lives here, and the nitrogen it takes up from the soil. Okay, so from the soil, the plants takes the nitrogen. Okay, then the Rhizobium bacteria, what they do, the plant takes the nitrogen as in the form of nitrate, not directly nitrogen but in the form of nitrate. Now Rhizobium helps the nitrate to convert into the nitrogen. Okay, this bacteria helps nitrate to convert in the nitrogen. Other than this, there is Azotobacter and Clostridium. These are some bacteria which helps in the nitrification process. Okay, this is called nitrification, to absorb the nitrogen from the environment. Okay, for this purpose there are some special plants called leguminous plants. In the leguminous plants, the roots have some swollen nodules in which the Rhizobium or other bacteria lives. Okay, then they take up the nitrogen as in the form of nitrates. Okay, but the plants use this in the form of nitrogen. So it's very important to convert the nitrate in the form of nitrogen. So it is done by the help of these bacteria. Okay, so this is how the bacteria are very useful in the agriculture. Now see the role of bacteria in the industries. Okay, it's mostly used in tea currying and leather tanning. Tea currying is to produce different flavors of tea. Okay, here the bacteria is used, and other one is leather tanning. In leather tanning, the bacteria are used to break down the soft part of the skin. Okay, in the tanning industry, the leather is prepared from the animal's skin. Okay, so the soft part of the skin used to break down, okay, by the bacteria. Now another topic is spoilage of food. Okay, as you know very well, bacteria are the decomposers. Okay, they do spoiling of food. Okay, now see, due to spoilage of food, for food poisoning can be happen in our body. One condition is botulism. Botulism is food poisoning at very serious level. Okay, so many things we eat outside the home. Okay, it may be contaminated. Okay, it may be contaminated by the bacteria. So that's why the people resist that the outside food should not be taken, the street food should not be taken. Okay, they may be contaminated. Okay, and then if bacteria enter to our body, the food poisoning can be happen. Okay, now see the preservation of food. How can we preserve our food from these bacteria? For this purpose there are some process, like first of all boiling. Okay, boiling, this process commonly we use in homes. Okay, in rainy seasons the water comes to our home may contaminated. We boil it. Okay, we boil it at 100 degrees Celsius, and at this temperature the bacteria may get killed. Okay, and then after that we can take the water, and similarly we can do with the foods also. Okay, we may boil it and then we can take. After this the process salting. Okay, as you have seen many times, the pickles you have, okay, you having in your homes, how you prepare it? The pickles is it is preserved by the salting. Okay, you use salts in the pickles. Okay, or the tinned food coming from the industries. Okay, the canned foods are preserved by the process salting. Okay, a very high concentration of salt is used to mix up with the foods. That's why the bacteria cannot be invade on the foods. Okay, then dehydration. As you know, where there is water, where there is moisture, there will be more bacterial invasion. Okay, so for this purpose we dehydrate the objects, we dehydrate the food materials, so then we can use it for the long times. Okay, so this is dehydration. Another process is irradiation. Irradiation process is the radiation. We use UV radiations or other radiations to kill the bacteria, but the food does not get the affected. Food get not affected by the radiations, but this process is not currently in use. Okay, next process is pasteurization. Pasteurization is famous for milk. Okay, what we do, we partially pasteurize sterilize the milk in this process. Okay, we heat first the milk at certain temperature, and then quickly we cool it down. Quickly we cool it, okay? But from this process, completely the bacteria cannot be killed, okay? So this process, after the cooling, the bacteria will not multiply, okay? Next process, refrigeration. It's very common, we use in our homes, okay? We use a refrigerator in home. So refrigeration is the process in which the food materials keep in the cold storage, okay? In the cold storage. So any kind of food or cooked food, okay, we keep in the refrigerator, so it can be taken for some time, okay. Next is strong concentration or chemicals. For example, jams and pickles, okay, these are the processed foods, okay, we buy from the shops. So the jams you see packed in a bottle, manufactured about 3 to 4 months ago, okay, but it does not get spoiled. Why? Because a strong concentration of sugar is added to the jams, or the strong concentration of salt is added to the pickles, okay. That's why they may get preserved for the long time, okay. This was the bacteria. In next session we will study about the role of the fungi, okay.